Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Blake's Books. Today I am doing my TBR video for the month of April 2023. These are the books that I am intending to read this month. Potentially may get to more, maybe I won't be able to get to all of these. I'm hoping I can get to all of these. But these are the ones that I am at least planning to read this month. So I have 6 books here to talk about. One of them is part of a series, and then the other 3 are standalones, 3 Star Wars standalones. I've been doing a lot of Star Wars reviews lately and reading a lot of Star Wars books, so I apologize if it's getting a bit much. I just have a lot of Star Wars books that I want to get through because that is the majority of what I have at the moment. So I kind of want to get through some of those, but 3 of them are not Star Wars, so... the first 3 books that I'm going to be going through are Brandon Sanderson books. I've been reading a lot of Brandon Sanderson stuff over the course of the last, 10 months or so. I've read his first 3 Mistborn books, first 2 Stormlight books, and his 2 standalones, Elantris and Warbreaker. And this month, I am going to be starting his Wax and Wane series, also known as Mistborn Era 2, which takes place, I think, a few hundred years after the first 3 books. Now, these 3 I've had for a little while, and I've been waiting to start them till the right time because I wanted to read the first 2 Stormlight books, and then read these, and then next I will read Arcanum Unbounded, and then Oathbringer, which is the 3rd Stormlight book. So I figured now that I read Words of Radiance last month and really enjoyed it, I'm just feeling like some more Brandon Sanderson. And I really have been curious about this era of Mistborn because it's very different from the first one from what I've heard. There's guns, and I'm really excited to see how that impacts the magic system because the magic in Mistborn is metal-based, so that'll be interesting. And just see how things have changed within the world and all that stuff because I'm not going to say specifics in case you haven't read the first 3 Mistborn books, but the trilogy ends with some very big changes to the world itself, and not to mention the technological advancements that I assume, considering they have guns now, what has happened in that space between the 2 sub-series. So I'm excited to see what that one holds. I'm not reading The Lost Metal yet, the 4th book, and the reason for that is twofold. First of all of my other Brandon Sanderson books are in mass market paperback. I would be willing to switch to hardcover if it's a still ongoing series, which is probably what I'm going to have to do with Stormlight eventually. But because I already have the first 3 Era 2 books in mass market, I want to wait until Lost Metal comes out in mass market as well, so I'll probably be waiting a little bit for that. In addition to that, I also want to read that last after everything else, at least in terms of the stuff that had already come out before it. So I still have a few other things that I need to read first anyway. So I'm very excited to read those. Been looking forward to it for a long time, and now I just feel like doing it. The next thing, I have 3 Star Wars books. 1 Legends book, 1 Canon book, and 1 book that's not really either one. So the first one, I'm not sure what order I'm going to read these in, to be honest, but the first one is the Legends book, which is Rogue Planet. I forget who wrote it off the top of my head, but it is, I believe, a book that takes place between episode 1 and 2 of the movies. And I would not be reading this right now, except for the fact that some friends have told me that this book is in some way related to the New Jedi Order series, and I have been going through those and have most of them now, so I'll be going through those more throughout the year. And I don't know at what point that book comes into play, but because it's related, and since it's a standalone, and because it's also actually exploring a time period of Star Wars that I really want to see more of, that time between episode 1 and 2 with Obi-Wan and Anakin specifically, I am really interested in reading it. So I'm going to read it this month. As far as the canon book, I'm going to be reading Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. This is one that I have had on my shelf for quite some time now, I think since late last summer, if I remember correctly. So I've had it for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it, but I am going to do that this month. I've heard that it's very good. I've heard it's one of the best canon books out there, and it's written by Claudia Gray, who I have read a handful of her books now. I have read her young adult High Republic book, Into the Dark, her adult High Republic book, Fallen Star, Master and Apprentice, and Lost Stars, and I think that's it. There may be one that I'm forgetting, but I think that's it. And I have really enjoyed all of those, to varying degrees, but generally I have liked all of her work that I've read, so I'm very much looking forward to reading it for that reason, plus I've heard it's really awesome. And the last book is another Star Wars book that it's a Disney release book, but it's not canon, as far as I'm aware anyway, which is Myths and Fables, which is another one that I've had for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to. Back in October, I reviewed the book Star Wars Dark Legends, which is kind of similar to this one. And that I actually really enjoyed. I didn't love it because it just wasn't 100% my kind of thing, but it was very enjoyable. It was kind of these short stories that are set in the Star Wars universe, but are a little bit different and have more of a horror feel to them. Whereas this one, from my understanding, is taking more of a mythological, more fantastical look at Star Wars and making stories based on that, which sounds super interesting to me. I've been really looking forward to reading this one for a while because just the concept sounds really cool, and I love the cover as well. The cover has a Jedi who I assume is Obi-Wan based on what I've heard, but I don't know for sure, fighting what I assume is more of a fantasy spin on a crate dragon, which is just super cool, and I love that artwork. In my bookshelf that I have in my room, in my bedroom, I only have a small number of my books on that bookshelf, but that book is on there and the cover is facing out because it's just such a cool cover. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that one. Should be pretty quick. Dark Legends was very quick, and I think this is about the same length. So it should be a pretty quick read. But anyways, that is pretty much all I got for you today. So let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books that I am going to be checking out this month. You can expect reviews of probably all of these on the channel, I assume. I think, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to review the Mistborn books, just because they are one series, and with shorter series like trilogies, I tend to review them all together. But because it's 4 books, plus the fact that I don't have the 4th book yet, I may review them individually. Haven't figured that out yet. But you can expect reviews of all of these anyway at some point within the month or next month, depending on how things go. So that is pretty much it for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.